Hey everybody, Brian from Bearable Traders here. It is the weekend, August 2nd, and this, of course, is the weekend video. We'll go over what happened last week in the markets, a lot to unpack there, and then we'll take a look ahead, see what we got coming up this week, including some trading opportunities. So let's get down to it. Okay, so let's start out with a quick week in review. The indexes fell this week due to a number of factors as we sold off towards the end of the week there. White House introduced additional tariffs with that August 1st deadline on multiple countries, Canada, Switzerland, etc., etc. Jobs report came out Friday. It was a major disappointment for traders and investors, showing lower than expected payroll hiring, and there was a significant downward revision for May and June. So the payrolls almost came in flat for those last couple of months. So not as pretty a picture on the payroll side of things as was originally thought. Treasury yields saw a really sharp decline on that news. And of course, the market pricing in the possibility or an increased possibility for a significant rate cut in September there. And we'll take a look at that CME chart in a second. Utilities, of course, was the only sector that gained this week. Utilities have been pretty good, just primarily probably because the anticipated energy demand for the AI business, and so utilities have been pretty strong over the last couple months. Materials and consumer discretionary, of course, if the economy is not doing well, labor market's not doing well, consumer discretionaries, they were the biggest losers on the week. The 2-year and 10-year treasuries, I mentioned, dropped significantly on that labor report. And US dollar actually finished up a little bit this week. And Bitcoin finally really pretty significant drop after on that Friday, all that Friday news that came out. So sort of behaving like a risk asset. And that was your week in review. And before we go on, a quick mention for my books that are available on Amazon: How to Swing Trade and Profiting as an Active Trader. Those are both books basically on position and swing trading, and my How to Trade Options book. It is available this weekend on Amazon. It is free to download in an e-version, so if you want to check that out, absolutely free until Sunday. So if you want to check that out, it's there, and the links are in the description of the video. So check it out. So starting out with our index quick review, I'll just start out here, just show what happened with the Fed Watch tool. You can see here for this September meeting that's coming up, we've now got an 80% chance, and this was a significant increase from a couple days ago when we were probably sitting around 61, 62%. After that jobs report came out, we jumped to about an 80% possibility of a rate cut coming in September there. So again, market's sort of now pricing in a rate cut. And you can see here, this is the 2-year that we always that we always start out with here. You can see here we had a pretty significant drop on the weekly, but that mostly occurred on the Friday after that jobs report came out with the weaker than expected payroll numbers. And you can see here also on the 10-year, we dropped off significantly on that number as well. Yield, so TLT, the price of the bonds, increased a lot there. The Dow, again, selling off a bit on Thursday and then really gapping down here after those numbers came out Friday. Significant bounce there, at least we came on well off the lows of the session on the Dow. Of course, there was some news about repositioning subs based on some Russian threat for nuclear, the use of nuclear weapons, and of course that didn't help the market either on Friday. And you can see here, there's your weekly on the Dow. We are coming back down into a bit of a trading range here after almost breaking out. Couldn't quite do it there on the Dow. So again, same comment on the Qs. Selling Thursday and then follow through Friday there. Here's a level here. I think that there's probably going to be some pretty significant support right around 540, 541 on the Qs. We're coming down into a moving average, and this is prior where we broke out from. So I think this could be an area where you'd find buyers The same with the SPY. Looks like here this is kind of an area where we broke out from. So this sort of 618, 619 level, which we actually bounced off a little bit on Friday. If we do get some more downside selling, this 600 level would be your area where I'd look for some support. But again, I think this pullback is probably going to get bought, maybe around this 610 level on the SPY. Can see there. And the IWM, again, well off the lows of the session on Friday, which is a bit of a positive sign in a otherwise sea of red. And you can see here, again, this sort of 210 level could be an area where we will find some significant support and maybe bounce back. Again, I think we're going to be in a bit of a trading range now through August. So maybe a bounce back, but I don't see the possibility of higher highs through August unless there is some significant news. The dollar strengthening here a bit through the week, pulled back on Friday on that news, but overall I finished up on the week, and it looks like it's actually trying to break this downtrend here. So dollar looking like it might head up. And Bitcoin really was just sort of trading in this range for quite a while, sort of 120 to sort of 116 area, and you can see we've really broken down. We've come down to a moving average here. This is where we could see some significant support around 110. So we'll see what happens there. And again, Bitcoin again pulling back pretty significantly on the week. And that's your week in review for the indexes. All right, this is a review of some of the active trades that I had on from last week. I did take Amazon off before earnings. If you've read my swing trade book, you know, generally speaking, I do not like to hold swing trades through events like earnings. So I did take this off on early in the week, and I'm glad I kind of did because it dropped pretty hard there. And EVTL, this was on my watch list last week. I really like this one. It's a long-term trade. I'm not really looking to, for a quick pop on this one, even week or month. It's going to be a long-term hold. This company, I think, is going to be a good hold in the long term because I think they have this vertical takeoff and landing electric vehicle that's going to be going to market in 2028. So it's quite a ways off, but I think it's a great long-term hold because they've got a lot of potential and a lot of orders on the books and a working prototype, which is way ahead of the competition. So like in this one, for long-term hold. Hood was another one I took off last week. Again, same theory. Don't like to hold stocks through earnings. Again, glad I did because it reported some good numbers, but still sold off. Nvidia is still holding some here, although it did sell off on Friday. Palantir, I'm still holding a small position in that, and again, it's reporting Monday, so I will probably sell the stock before the earnings report, just like I always do, and we'll see where it settles from there. And silver had a pretty significant pullback. I've been in it for quite a while here. I still think this is worth holding a little bit of a position just because it is, it's used in everything from solar cells to electric vehicles, etc., and I still think it has some good potential. So I'm just holding a few little silver stock positions there. So this was on my watch list last week. Still haven't pulled the trigger yet on it. Again, this is where it will break out from. Had a nice little pullback here and a nice doji candle on Friday. So I will probably be looking for an entry on this on Monday. You can see here, this is a pretty significant area of support. So that would be a good place to stop out if it didn't work out. So I'm still looking at that one. And Google reported last week. A little bit of a disappointment, I think, on AWS. But again, I think this pullback could be bought, or you could also sell options down here at 180. And I think there's pretty significant support here. This is where it broke out from. See a nice little breakout, pullback to retest that breakout level and went up. So This 185 level also looks like an area might be support. So again, probably has some support here, maybe a bit of a sell-off on Monday and an opportunity to get into that. Again, same with Meta. This 720 level looks pretty solid for support. This is kind of an area where it was hanging around and then broke out from after that earnings report. If not 720, 700, definitely an area where you could find support on Meta. And then you've got healthcare. Healthcare is actually a kind of interesting sector. It's really sold off. It's back down in a very low range here. Actually had a pretty good day on Friday despite the market gap down and sell off. So looking for a little bit of a turn here on XLV. And you can play this a number of ways. There's LABU, which is a levered ETF to the biotech. You can also be XBI is another one that could be playable. So healthcare, possibly a little bit of a bounce back there for that one. And that's kind of the ones I'm watching for next week, other than the ones that are going to be reporting. So let's wrap things up for the coming week. August 4th, there's your levels on the Dow, Q, SPY, IWM support and resistance levels. As far as economic events go, we do have some ISM services and PMI numbers on Tuesday, regular jobless claims on Thursday, and wholesale inventories on Thursday as well. So kind of a light week for economic events compared to last week, of course. And still heavy into the earnings season. Lots of interesting stuff coming up here. We've got PLTR after close on Monday. Got AMD, Rivian, SMCI after the close on Tuesday. And Disney, McDonald's, Dash, Airbnb through Wednesday. Could be an interesting Wednesday with those numbers. So lots of stuff to look forward to in terms of earnings this week. Probably more volatility. And what have we got for high level view? It looks like the market for me is put in a bit of a top right now. We do need another catalyst to move higher, and right now I'm not really sure what this would be going into August, which is typically a little bit of a quieter month, people on vacation. I think dip buyers are still out there looking to support the markets, so if we do get some more pullback, I think there's still a bounce there, but might be a little bit range bound, I believe. Obviously tariff news can still move the market, so there's still headline risk out there. And like I said, I expect a bit of a chop and a range here for the month of August, unless we get some really earth-shaking news. So that is my high-level view. And yeah, check things out. We may be doing some after hours live on YouTube for maybe for AMD on Tuesday. So watch for news on that. Otherwise, we'll see everybody in the room on Monday morning live on YouTube. And for our members in the room, look forward to seeing you there. Have a great rest of your weekend, everybody. Bye for now.